Hey guys, welcome to Ignosis. Just wanted to create a quick tutorial video on how to use simple ML for Google Sheets. This came out a little over a month ago, and I didn't see a lot of good training or tutorials on how to use it. The Google ML team did make their own training on it, but it didn't seem like it was very applicable. It was classifying penguin types, and it's very hidden tutorial. And it's all text based. So I thought I'd make a video based tutorial, and that would be helpful for you guys. So simple ML is really just a really simple extension that you can add on to your Google Sheets application online, and it basically lets you do machine learning tasks on your data set, and that can be very useful and very powerful. So I'm going to go through two of the basic ones they let you do. If this gets enough likes and comments and activity, then maybe I'll go into the more like advanced in-depth features. So let's go into simple ML for Google Sheets. So let's figure out how to install it first. So you want to go to Google Workspace Marketplace, go in here. Uh, you can click on this link right here, workspace.google.com, search simple ML, and then here it is, the one with the owl. So you can click learn more or click on the TensorFlow Decision Forest team, and that will lead you to their site. And then you just click install here. And then that way you can kind of, if you want to go through their documentations, you can just go here, simplemlforsheets.com. But you don't need that. You have me. So yeah, once it's installed, you can go to your data set and you go under extensions, simple ML for sheets, just hit start. So with this data set, it's a very interesting data set. It has some store information on certain people, what they bought in different sections, how much fruits, meat, fish, gold, number of deals, purchases, a lot of just different data. One thing I did notice is that there is actually some already blank data here for income. So let's try to see if we can predict this information based on the information that we already have. So let's get started. And so go into extensions. By now, simple ML for sheets would pop up on the bottom. If this doesn't pop up, just refresh your Google Sheets and it should come up. Go ahead and hit start. Give it a second. It'll pop up here. And then we're just going to start with predict missing value. And then what's the column with the empty cell? So we're going to say it is income right here. And then source column. So over here, you kind of want to be picky on what you are and are not choosing. What kind of information in here would help you determine what a person's income is. So their ID probably is not going to be very representative of their income. Year birth could be very representative, right? If they're older, they might have had more time to build up their career and earn more of an income. Education, higher education might have a strong correlation with income. Marital status, maybe they're a dual income household, and so they do have more income coming in. Or if they're divorced, maybe they're paying child support or some sort of alimony, so their income is not as high. So these make sense. How many did they have kids at home? That makes sense. Date customer, I'm not too sure if this would be representative. Also, it's in a text format, so that's another useful thing. If you can see what kind of format it's in, is it a category, is it a number, is it text? So text is not going to be very helpful for us. Recency, this is like how recently have they bought from the store. So I don't know if that's going to be very applicable. I'm very conservative about the values that I think should be used to predict another value. Um, yeah, how much are they spending on wine, fruit, meat, fish? I think that's very applicable. Probably if you're lower income, you're not buying as much meat. Unfortunately, you can't afford it. So total spend is an aggregation of all these amounts, product amounts. So we're not going to look at that. If there's are deals being purchased as a web purchase, catalog purchase. I think these items might make sense. Web visit, I'm not going to look at. Response and complaints, not going to look at. So let's just go ahead. So we got our selection. Let's go ahead and hit predict. So now it's actually running the machine learning model. So there's already a model developed, and it's using that to use the inputs that we use, running that model and seeing what factors are more or less correlated with income, and then by what degree, and then it's going to give you an output. So over here, we have predicted income. So a lot of these are blank because these items, these people already have an income stated. So let's go ahead and freeze that row. So we can do a side-by-side comparison. And then we don't want to see any of the blanks. So here you go. So for all these blank incomes, it's predicting this is what their income is. So, but the question now is, how good is this? Is this representative at all of what we have within the whole data set? So let's do our own test then. Let's go ahead and unfilter this. We'll go ahead and delete this value. We'll filter by blanks. Let's just get rid of all the blank incomes. Delete. And so now we have a full list of incomes. And let me throw myself over here. We're going to duplicate this data set. So now we have a duplicated data set. And let's just randomly delete 5 incomes. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. I want to hide 1, 4, and 1 more. 5. Let's just do that. So I just randomly deleted 5. And we're going to do the exact same prediction model. So let's go ahead. Didn't want ID. So income is what we want to predict. We want to make sure that's there. Date, recency, total spent. We'll keep the rest. We'll get rid of response and complain. And let's go ahead and hit predict. So now we're predicting. Cool. So now we have our 5 predicted amounts for these incomes. So now, since we copied it from the original data source and we just deleted the data, let's go ahead and isolate those values. So here we'll just do a quick VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, it should be A2 is the ID. We're going to look up over here. So this is all, I'm just want to make sure I match it to the original data set. That's all I'm doing here. We'll go ahead and duplicate or fill the formula below. And we don't want any of the NA. So these are the exact ones. So let's go ahead and copy and then paste. So now we have the real results. Let's see how close we get. Is this any good? Let's calculate the differences. So here's the income minus predicted income. So this one was 13,000 off, 8,000, 3,000, 8,000, and this was 12,000 off from the actual values. So if we take that, let's take the absolute value, because we don't want negative percentages. Compare it. What was the difference? Enter percentage. So that was 27% off. 4%, 9%, 20%. This one was way off by almost double. So yeah, most of the time not too bad. It looks like if it doesn't have really good data, people with like very low income, there might not be a lot of data available of people within this range. So it probably had a much more difficult time predicting. So if we went ahead, if we go back to the data, unfilter, and yeah, let's just do A to Z. It looks like there is quite a decent range, but that range might have looks like a lot of people who are graduates, PhD. I'm not sure what twin cycle is, master, married, together, single. So I guess this range just has a big range of people with a lot of different backgrounds, and their spending habits might not be have a high correlation. So that could be a reason why. But other than that, it looks like it did it wasn't too far off. It was still low, still predicted low. So I would say this is a pretty decent prediction. So let's do something else. Another thing you can do with Google ML is spot abnormal values. So you don't have to have missing values, but if something looks abnormal, it'll point it out to you. So let's just see if there's anything abnormal in our data set. So we duplicated our data. Let's throw in some columns in here. Let's just do that. Let's do spot abnormal. So these are the two models that are already pre-built that you can just use with any Google Sheet. You don't have to train a model or anything. There's some advanced items like train a model, evaluate a model, make predictions with a model, so manage it, export. So there's a lot of things you can do in an advanced mode, and maybe we'll get in that in another video. So let's go ahead and spot abnormal values, and we'll do the same thing, income, and we'll do the same selections. So birth, education, marital, date, customer, recency, we'll get rid of that. Total spent, we'll get rid of that. Response and complain. Let's run it. So now it's going to just run a completely different model just to see if there's any abnormal values. It's collecting samples, and we got some abnormal values. So let's see. So what it's doing here is this column will tell you what's the probability that this value is abnormal. It doesn't fit the rest of the data set. And then it also tells you like what should the value be, or what would be the most likely value that this income amount should be. So let's actually filter this from Z to A. So one person got 100%. Let's do this as a percentage. Yeah, so two people came as 100%. One was 99.99, but one was literally 100%. And it kind of makes sense. So this person said, they graduated. I'm guessing this means like graduated high school, maybe. But their income is 66666. So whoever entered this information probably just didn't want to share their income. What's a little funny is that it's predicting their most likely income is around $20,000. And on the other hand, this person probably, unlikely to have $2,500 as their income, is actually predicting that their income is $162,000. So what'd be interesting to see is what do their purchases look like, and it kind of makes sense. Look here. So this family actually spends a lot on meat, $1,725 at this place on meat, and the other one not so much on meat. Meat is a pretty good predictor, I would feel like, of how much income someone has. Meat is more expensive. So if we go to Z to A, we can see that, if you are buying a lot more meat, you're near 100,000 or over 100,000. Whereas if you are not buying as much meat, less meat, we can see a correlation here. We're sub 30, sub 20, sub 40. This person that might actually be predicted to, let's see, 74%. So that's really interesting that I was able to pick that up. We could redo this whole abnormal values calculation and just do it on just meat price alone. Is meat price a good indicator of someone's income? So you can actually just redo this. We can take out wine, fruit, or maybe just include wine and meat, right? And then see, is wine and meat, a good indicator of what someone's income could be. So we can run that as well. But yeah, so those are the two things you can do with simple ML. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, comments, let me know. This whole data set was actually pulled from Kaggle, Superstore Marketing Campaign Dataset, and this is a really good one to use. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link in the description for simple ML worksheets. And yeah, just let me know if you guys want something more out of this. You have a specific use case you want to use. Happy to test it out. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.